All right, guys. Today we are making easy peasy, zesty, and hearty chili. So this cutting tool, y'all, we've had this for years, and I like it because it's easy to dice things quickly. It comes with the little cutting tools with different size um, dice sizes. Now, one of the things about onions is I like to do the onions first because they tend to get stuck in there. But all that being said, whatever you're cutting in there, it needs to be a certain size or the cutting will be kind of hard to do. That's one of the only things that I don't like about it, that you have to do it in um, not necessarily so many steps, but so many repetitions because the bigger the pieces that you're cutting, the harder it is to press that little top flap down. But all in all, it's still a pretty easy tool to use and it has its purposes. So we're going to just finish cutting up these onions and peppers. I think that's the only color peppers I have today. So here I am heating up the pan. I'm going to put some oil in there to go ahead and saute these vegetables until they get close to soft, not quite soft, but I'm using Bush's black beans and also Bush's chili starter. And I believe that chili starter has pinto beans in it. I'm also going to add some diced tomatoes, and I'm also going to add, you'll see at the end, some tomato paste. So here we're just going to, again, saute these vegetables till they get almost soft. So you just season to taste. That seasoning is a garlic powder, onion, pepper, um, salt blend. And yeah, I really like that. I buy that, I guess you can say in bulk, but not really in bulk. I think there's like a 3-pack on Amazon because sometimes I can't find it in the grocery store. On Instacart, of course. Letting the veggies cook down some more, I am going to utilize that time to wipe the can tops clean. I had already rinsed them, so I'm just wiping them off and then opening them up so that I could also drain the black beans while we're waiting on the peppers and onions to finish cooking. So now that these are cooked to my liking, I'm going to remove those from the pan and then add the ground beef and brown that and then drain the meat. And then we're going to start adding everything. Season your meat to taste. I actually season as I cook. I've seen some, I'm not going to say channels, but I've just seen some individuals. They cook the meat and then they add the seasonings. But and I can see probably some sense in that, but I like to add mine as it's cooking. And so here I am browning the meat and chopping with my little chopper tool to make sure I'm taking out all of the big chunks. And now I am going to remove the grease. Y'all, this method, I kind of simultaneously had an idea and saw this in somebody's video. But this, I mean, of course, you're using a few paper towels, but this method is super easy because as you can see, that pot is kind of big. So to try to hold that and drain the grease and not lose my meat and have a container or something that can withstand the hot grease, yeah, sometimes that's too much. So I don't know why I didn't think about that or come across it sooner because that's just super easy. So I'm adding some, I believe that's McCormick chili seasoning, and then the Bush's chili starter, and the diced tomatoes, and the black beans. And I believe at some point I add in a little bit of cumin, a little bit of chili powder, and again, you're going to see me here. I think this is coming up where I add the tomato paste because something about that color, I wanted my chili a little bit more red and to add a little bit more sauce to it as well. So here I am basically diluting that tomato paste with some, that's garlic paste I just put in there. But I'm going to dilute that paste with some water and a little bit of chicken broth, just a little bit. It's mostly water though. So I do this a couple times. And I think the first time is the only time that I added a little bit of chicken broth to that mixture. Every other time it was just water and tomato paste. And I pretty much do that to get the chili to a good consistency that I would enjoy eating it. You know, not too soupy, but also not so thick that, it's just big chunks of stuff. So I'm going to do that a couple times until it gets to the consistency that I want. Adding spices as I go because, of course, I'm adding more liquid. So I'm tasting it as I go along to make sure that I don't do too much because, of course, you don't want to make it too salty or highly seasoned that you can't enjoy it. So now we're just letting it cook down a little bit and simmer for a few minutes before we plate it up. So this little segment here is again some simmering. I add a little bit of Frank's Red hot sauce, and here's where I add the cumin and the chili powder and a little bit more spices to taste. And then I'm going to put this top on and let it simmer for a few minutes, and then we're going to enjoy the good eating.